the importance of reading from paper, the importance of writing. Just last week, when I was speaking, we had a meeting about our online experiences during the pandemic, and it became clear that most of our students were using pen and paper to take notes in online lectures. They weren't typing, they were taking notes. And that is key, because the student, and in order to do that, of course, they had to learn how to write in the first instance, how to summarize their thoughts by interpreting what lecturers like myself are saying, and then take notes accordingly. Of course, the fact that the lectures are recorded, they go back and check, but unfortunately, if they're using the videos as note-taking devices, it has been shown scientifically that watching a video gives a false sense of security to the learner, and they're not actually learning as much as if they actually took notes, because of the neurological circuitry that's engaged in the act of writing. And there's a whole area of science called haptics of writing, and it's very important. And seeing as I'm on that topic, I ran a research center for many years, PhDs, postdoctoral researchers, and research fellows, and they all have one thing in common: they used their pen and paper. These were scientists engaging in research on artificial intelligence. So when they're writing out the code and ideas, pen and paper.
Yeah,
that's it.
I remember being in Canada 2 years ago and sitting beside a professor of education, and he told me the jury is out on whether children need to learn to write anymore. And I was shocked. And he said, well, they can key. But I said, hold on here. And we had the debate, And I mean, I note in your paper, you talk about the pen being mightier than the keypad. And it brought back that conversation to me. But in terms of hand-eye motor coordination, precision in using, in holding the pen, etc., and the knock-on effects for so many other activities we engage in as humans who have evolved to this point, I think it would be a retrograde step to pull back on the writing. And that whole thing of graphology, which is big in France, even in the legal system, it's so important. And it gives gravitas to that notion of the need to write to embed and to own a piece of information. So how do you find it, Simon, at the coalface with the students? Do you find that they are more reluctant to write since the digital technology is coming more to the fore?
Not right now, no. I must say, just at primary level, I mean, thankfully, and maybe purely by accident, there's been, moves, certainly at infant level, to a much more creative and play-based sort of learning atmosphere. And I can't, and I imagine, based on the research of Waldorf Steiner and all that, Montessori, all the various things, that like most of infant education is screen-free in terms of the children's use of it.
The ASHTR, you're referring to the ASHTR program,
the ASHTR framework, exactly. And it's good. That I would see that as a good thing, because children aren't children are role playing, being in, let's say, various situations, post office vets, whatever, but they're not on a, there's no they're not on the working computer or anything like that. They have the pens, they have colors, and they're using their hands all the time, and they are, I don't think I've seen, certainly at the early primary years, technology for inputting anything, taking over the handwriting and things. I mean, I was nodding along while you were saying you were having this debate with someone who said, like, the pad is going to take over the pencil or the pen. But I mean, sure, there's people arguing that even the keypad is going to be obsolete within 10, 15 years, and we'll all be talking to our devices, and we won't need keyboards at all. But that's here nor there. I think there's. I think it would be a disaster if writing using the pen died off. I'm a writer. When I'm not being in this job, I'm a writer myself. And I always find, if I'm starting anything, any piece of creative work or anything like that, if I start on my laptop, the stuff I produce just isn't as good. You know, and certainly if I make a mistake, I erase it and it's gone. Whereas if I'm writing, I might have to cross out my mistakes, but they're still there and I can see them and I can come back to them. You know, and there's all these other, I mean, these are just, I mean, I'm not talking as a scientist here at all. You know, more, you know, there's probably scientific stuff around that, but I mean, just from a pragmatic or a practical kind of level, you know, I do see all this. I just, as well as that, I mean, I think one of the powers of technology, though, when it does come to it, is, you know, I think technology replacing writing doesn't work. But the idea that Tom touched on there around gamifying and create, I love the idea of, I suppose my bias is I loved, when I was doing my studies, Seymour Papert was my hero. I loved his theories. You know, the idea of building and constructionism. I loved all that. I don't know how popular it is these days, but I loved them at the time. But the idea of creating using technology and constructing things, so building blocks of like whether it's Lego or whether it's using adding in technology into that, and then the idea of Second Life and the idea of Minecraft and all that that's kind of appeared. I see that as good technology use, but I'm not quite sure how it fits into the primary curriculum, let's say. But you know, I see those as I suppose seeds of ideas that might, you know, give a role to technology, and if we're going to give a positive role to technology into the system. But certainly just replacing things like writing or learning, you know, your basics. I don't see them as good uses of technology.